Hello friends, and welcome to the 8th chapter of the Bhagwad Gita. It is called as Akshara Brahma Yoga. In this Akshara Brahma Yoga there are 28 verses, and this is the must chapter for everybody. Why? Because every one of us is going to die, and Krishna tells in this chapter how is the process that one should leave this body, and that is the chapter's name called Attaining the Supreme, and it is called Akshara Brahma Yoga. In this chapter, Krishna actually starts by answering to Arjuna's questions, and that's why if you want to remember this 8th chapter, you have to remember just 4 words, and those 4 words are D-E-A-D, dead, because this chapter deals with death. And if you really want to know how to die, we have to take a very simple example of Parikshit Maharaj. What did he do at the time of his death when Takshaka was coming to bite him? He left everything, his kingdom, his kingsmen, everything, and went on the banks of the Ganges, and there he met the sages of Naimisharanya to enlighten him about Bhagwad Gita, about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how to surrender to him. Delineates the whole chapter in one essence if you know what is to be done at the time of death. So remember 4 words, D, E, A and D, to understand these 8th chapter of the Gita. How to make out? The D is the doubts of Arjuna. Arjuna questions Krishna at the start of the chapter by questioning him on 7 various questions. What is Kim Adhyatma? He asks to Krishna that what is spirituality? What is the process to be followed? So he very beautifully explains that Adhyatma means of 3 words, and that is the Jivatma, the Paramatma, and the process to achieve the Paramatma. And the Supreme Godhead says very beautifully in this chapter that Bhakti Yoga is the most amazing process where we can very nicely approach at the time of death the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. So that is the process. Adhyatma, Bhakti Yoga is the process to achieve the Lord. D stands for doubts. E is end of the road, because this chapter deals with a person's death, a person, how should he leave his body. And ultimately, end of the road is for every one of us who has come in this world is bound to die. They say as sure as death. So if we are born, we are known that we are going to die. So how to leave this body is the question which Krishna explains in the 8th chapter of the Gita. And there he explains attaining the Supreme. The 3rd A of the dead is attaining the Supreme. How to achieve? He very wonderfully explains that there are various ways. Where if the sun is present in the Capricorn, where if you remember Bhishma Pitama, he left his body when the sun entered Capricorn. There are different ways that when the sun is ascending, when the moon is ascending, where there are different planetary configurations, Krishna explains that you can leave this body in that particular constitution, in that constellation, and you will achieve that Gantavya Sthan, you will achieve that place. But in a very wonderful way, he explains in the 8th chapter, Anta Kalecha Mam Evam Smaran Mukta Kalevaram. He says that if you just remember me at the time of death, that is the greatest possible achievement which you can do at the time of death, and that is to remember Krishna. Even Bhishma Pitama, when he was leaving his body, he called Krishna, and there he placed his soul into the super soul of Krishna, and that's how he gave up his body. So our life is meant for serving Krishna, and it is the reflection in this world that we are seeing, but the permanence comes in the spiritual world, and that permanence still continues in the service attitude of this world, which we can continue in the spiritual world by attaining Krishna. So that is attaining the Supreme, that's the A. And the last part is devotee's disposition. Very beautifully Krishna explains that there is no need of waiting for a sun to go up, for a moon to go down, or if there is a place where we are having an accident and sudden death occurs, is that not we are not going to go to Godhead? Krishna says that does not depend on your externals, but it depends on your consciousness. If the consciousness of the person is continuously Krishna conscious, it doesn't matter in what way, in which circumstance he leaves his body. But because being in a devotee's disposition, continuously being a bhakti yogi, continuously connected to the Lord in various ways of his life, at the end also he maintains that bhakti yoga, and Krishna personally says that I will take that soul back to Godhead. He says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto mat yaji mam namaskuru mam eveshyasi yukto em atmana mat parayana in the 9th chapter. But here we can understand that how, if a person is continuously involved into the Krishna conscious business, at the end also he will do the same thing. That's what is the 8th chapter of the Gita, D-E-A-D. Thank you very much.